Palle tregon për përmbajtjen e reportazheve radiofonike.
When I do my Radio Vagabond podcast.
Në reportazhet e mia për Radio Vagabond mundohem të përfshij sa më shumë të mundem për kulturën e vendeve që vizitoj. Këtë e sjell përmes banorëve lokal, duke ia përcjell atë dëgjuesve të mi në radio. Ky është qëllimi im në të gjitha vendet ku shkoj.
Welcome back to Albania, a country that I didn't expect much from, but turned out to be amazing. A big part of that was the fact that I got connected to a guy who works in the travel industry, and he took time to show me around. If you've heard the first 2 episodes, you might have heard me speak highly of my visit to Albania. So I thought that I would mention that these are not sponsored episodes. I'm not on a press trip where I'm sort of expected to say something nice. Everything I say is my own genuine opinion. And if you have heard the other episodes, you might also have noticed that Adam only calls me Bo.
I have to tell you something else, Bo.
When I met him the first day, he said, "Is it okay that I just call you Bo? I can't get myself to say your first name." When I asked him why, he was almost blushing and told me that Palle is a very bad way of saying dickhead. Overall, my parents didn't really give me a name that was easy to travel with. Whenever I say my name, 9 out of 10 times I'm asked to repeat it. And when I was on the Nomad cruise, I met an Italian guy at the pool bar on the top deck. He looked at my name tag and laughed and said, "Stay there, I'll be right back." A few minutes later, he came back with another Italian guy and pointed at my name tag. And then they both broke down laughing. When I asked what was going on, he said, "It means bulls, balls." My first thought when I heard that was, that's not good. But then I thought, well, at least it's bull's balls and not rat's balls. Bull's balls, it's got a bit of cojones. Then later, I met another Italian who said, "No, it's just balls," and added that the Italians in fact have a term where they say, "Che palle," which means, "What a pain, how annoying," or simply, "That sucks." And in Finnish, it means clown. So, no, my parents didn't give me a travel-friendly name. I'm like a boy named Sue. Oh, I know, I just dated myself with a 1969 Johnny Cash reference. If you didn't get it, it's probably an indication that you're younger than me.
Meet Bo, a full-time traveler and digital nomad from Denmark on an epic journey around the world. This is the Radio Vagabond.
Supported in part by Hotels25.com. I use it to find the best deals on hotels, hostels, and guest houses anywhere in the world. I use it because I like saving time and money. But that's just me, right? Hotels25.com.
It's Sunday morning and we're about to go into the second interview that Adam set up for us. And we're meeting a guy called Mohammed in a restaurant.
In other words, Adam was still honoring the promise on making me famous in Albania.
Good morning. I'm Mohammed. Very nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
How are you doing?
Good.
You okay?
I'm good.
Good. I'm just waiting for a cameraman because he's been...
While we're waiting for the cameraman, I had a small chat with the reporter, Mohammed.
How's it going?
Very good.
Are you enjoying Albania?
So much, yeah. I really like it. But I have a very good tour guide that he can tell me a lot.
That is very important,
yeah.
so showing around
Yeah, it's been
and
so
make
good.
your life
It wouldn't
easy.
have been the same without my new
Well,
friend.
so it's a small country, but going to some good places, you must have a knowledge and the local people to...
Exactly.
Here's a clip from the interview.
Ky është gazetari danez Palle, I cili deri tani ka sjell për dëgjuesit danez të Radios Vagabond reportazhe nga 63 vende të botës.
I'm on a journey to visit every country in the world. So.
Un kam nisur një udhëtim për të vizituar të gjithë vendet e botës. Shqipëria natyrisht është pjesë e këtij udhëtimi.
Palle tregon për përmbajtjen e reportazheve radiofonike.
When I do my Radio Vagabond podcast.
Në reportazhet e mia për Radio Vagabond mundohem të përfshij sa më shumë të mundem për kulturën e vendeve që vizitoj. Këtë e sjell përmes banorëve lokal, duke ja përcjell atë dëgjuesve të mi në radio. Ky është qëllimi im në të gjitha vendet ku shkoj.
You can see the entire interview on theradiovagabond.com, but it would help you if you speak a bit of Albanian since it's not subtitled. After the interview, I turned the microphone around.
So Mohammed, now it's my turn to interview you.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Report TV is a privately owned TV station that brings news 24 hours a day and some information shows.
Well, basically, I work as a head of news for Report Television, which is 24/7 news. So we deal in every day with breaking news, not only about politics. In Albania, people do consume lots of politics, are very interesting what's going on in politics. But we are not focused only in politics. We break news about everything, about sport, crime, culture, and we're trying to be first. It's not easy. In Albania are about 6 TV channels which broadcast news 24 hours a day, and it's very hard to compete, but we try our best.
Are the TV channels privately owned, or is it government controlled?
Totally, televisions in Albania are private. Only one, it's a television which is a state television, which is they do found the money from taxpayers. Each month Albanian people pay a tax, and this is how this national television exists and it's run.
Yeah, like in Denmark as well. But it's totally free press here in Albania.
Absolutely, it's totally free press. Journalists are free to report, and we are doing our job. It's not easy. It's a small country. It's a huge competition, and as I said, we try to do our best. It's not easy at all.
If travel is your passion and you want escapism while still upholding your work and family responsibilities, you can travel vicariously from the comfort of your own home. This is the Radio Vagabond Podcast. Gotta keep moving.
The station was launched in 2015 by a former Albanian correspondent for the Italian news agency ANSA, Carlo Bollini. The Constitution of Albania now provides freedom of speech and freedom of the press. But obviously, that was not the case in the communist era. So there's not a lifelong tradition of free journalism in Albania. And that can also be a challenge.
Absolutely. We do not have a tradition in journalism because during the communism time in Albania it wasn't any school where people could go and become journalists. So the journalism, the free press in Albania exists since 1990 when the communism regime fell. And the first generation of journalists in Albania, now they run political programs or are head of news or they are on managing role. So basically we have a tradition in a good journalism only in past 28 years.
And the radio stations, I'm a radio guy, so I'm also interested in the radio situation. What's that like here?
Personally, I grew up listening Radio Tirana, which is the oldest radio in Albania and the only one. But now, after 1990s, are several radios which broadcasting in Albania. They are private, they are commercial. They have all sorts of programs, but the only way when people in Albania do listen to radio is when they travel. So nobody listen at home. We don't have that. So, but when people travel, definitely. So the best friend of them, it's radio, no doubt about it.
Does the media situation still have challenges to overcome in the coming years?
Absolutely. So Albania, it's part of the world. What's happening in the world with the media, especially with digital media. The newspapers almost are dying. So the circulation is very, very low and is decreased every day. Televisions, yes, they are in market, but they are facing the challenges of digital media, of websites, of internet, of Facebook. So basically, on my television, we do receive every day photo and videos from people, where they are, what is happening. It gets to us on real time through Facebook or through other channels. So the challenging of Facebook and the other digital media are very huge in Albania. It's exactly like other countries in the world.
So people with their cell phones are becoming reporters as well.
Absolutely, indeed. So everyone now is a journalist. During the communism time in Albania, it was a say, all people soldiers. But now, on modern time, with iPhones and with other modern devices on their hands, everybody's a journalist, and that is nice. But at the same time, it's a threat for us, because somebody, if see a car crash or murder story, they do report it straight away on their Facebook, and the media it's behind, it's lacking to get first where the story is happening.
We have a thing in Denmark, I think they call local eyes, and they really supply a lot of footage to the TV channels as well.
It's the same in Albania. We have on our TV website a section which says you report. So the people, what they see, what they heard, they send to us, and we broadcast. Obviously, we control, we put on a filter the information, and after that the broadcast. But we do give the possibilities to the people to cooperate with us, to be part of our television. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and do people get paid for supplying?
No. We are a small television. We don't have huge budget to pay for stories. We don't do that. So they send it and they cooperate. They become part of our television, and they like that. And we just thank them for what they do.
You can follow Palle on his Facebook page. Join the conversation about traveling and being a digital nomad. You can also see pictures, videos, and stories that don't necessarily make it into the podcast. Simply search for the Radio Vagabond.
Adam's father was a powerful commander in the Albanian military forces, and quite famous throughout the entire country back in the day. As we're driving, Adam told me a story that illustrates what it was like living in the communistic dictatorship. A story that made my jaw drop. One of the things you couldn't do back then was wearing anything that looked the least bit capitalistic. And that's what Adam did, even though his father told him not to, when he was 7 or 8 years old. And you're not going to believe what happened next. Let's get the story from Adam, but first let me remind you that this episode of the Radio Vagabond is partly supported by Hotels25.com. It's a cool website that can help you find the best deals on hotel rooms around the world. Hotels25.com. Okay, Adam, what are we talking about here?
Talking about communism time, and as you know now, Bo, my father was a very high commander in military forces, Albanian military forces, and he went to Tanzania to train some soldiers there, and he came back after 2 years, and when he came back here to Albania, he bought some presents, also 2 nice t-shirts. One of them was with a monkey in front of the t-shirt, and the other one is a red car, but in that time we didn't know what kind of car it is. But it's a Ferrari car, and I was just dying to wear these t-shirts and to show these t-shirts to my friends, but was not possible because these things are not able to wear it in Albania, because we consider these things capitalist fashion. So in communism these are not they are forbidden. My father told me that do not wear these t-shirts. I'll let you know when and where you have to wear this t-shirt. I said, okay, that's fine. And the same day he drives somewhere talking about his job. And he said, I'm going to come back tomorrow. So as soon as he left, I just took one of these T-shirts. I wear it, and I was going around my city. I was walking around my city. In fact, I was not walking, but I was flying because everybody was watching me. To be honest, it's not watching me, but everybody is watching my T-shirt. So the monkey is a white T-shirt with a nice monkey in front of the T-shirt. And everybody's curious, and because we never saw things like that. I was walking, and I saw a policeman who was calling me and said to me, come here. I went there, and he asked me, where did you found this T-shirt? I said to him, my father bought for me. But he didn't ask me for my father's name. My father in that time was very famous, not even my city, but even in Albania. And so everybody knows my father. But he didn't ask me, and I didn't say my father's name. And I just said, my father bought to me. And he slapped me in my face. He just slapped me 6 or 7 times, something like that. I was 7, 8 years old in that time. I was crying and also scared. He took off my T-shirt, and he burned my T-shirt in front of the other people who came around to see what's going on. And then by force, he sent me to the police station. And I spent the whole night in a police station, in a dark room, no lights, cold. And imagine a 7 years old young children in jail, and also naked. And I was just sitting in the corner, scared to death and crying, of course. And the whole night, I spent the night in that police station. And the next day, when my father came back, he was worried because my mom told him that Adam is not home. And he didn't been home for the whole night. And he was, mad because he thought something bad happened to me, or an accident or whatever. And also my mother, a night before, she was looking around me, the whole city, asking my friends, going all over. Also, she went to the police station to ask if, they asked the police for their help to find me. The chief of police know that I'm inside the police station. They told my mom that we have nobody here. So he lied to my mom. And then when my father came back, he came to the police station just to ask for the chief of police and police help. And then when chief of police recognized my father, and he knows who my father is, he said, we have a child here at the police station, so have a look if it's your son. And when I saw my father, I was just crying because I was happy, because now I'm safe. I saw my father, now I feel safe. And I saw my father just trying to destroy the door. It's a metallic door, trying to destroy, and he said to the chief of police, open the door immediately, otherwise you'll be in trouble. Everybody, all the police, chief of police, everybody was scared to death, because I told him my father was quite an important man in that time. They opened the door, and I just jumped and I hugged my father, and crying and telling him what's happened to me. Also, when I was, after a few minutes, 10 minutes, something, I was more calm because it's my father there now. I eat. Also, he bought something to eat because I didn't eat nothing for the whole night. And then my father asked me what's happened, and I told him the whole story. I said I wear one of your T-shirts you bought for me, and I was walking around the city, and a policeman, he just stopped me, burned my T-shirt, slapped me, and they sent to the police station. My father just got mad, and he said to me, come with me. We both moved to the police station because he need me as witnesses to show the police who bit me. And then all the police station, all the staff of the police station in that area came in a square. Is a square around these police stations. And my father said to me, do you know him? Do you remember him? And I said, yes, of course I remember him. I cannot forget him. and I show with my finger that's the one. And I don't know what's happened with the police, with this policeman. I still asking my father even today, what's happened with the policeman, because something bad happened to him. He didn't kill him. He didn't do something like this, but I'm sure, 100% sure that my father used his power to transfer this policeman to a place in middle of nowhere. It's kind of a punishment in that time. So even today, he's still not telling me what's happened with the police. I asked him many times what's happened, and he never told me.
This is the Radio Vagabond Podcast.
On recommendation from Adam, I've taken the bus a bit south to a city called Berat, and it's by a river, and I'm in the old town now. There are mountains on both sides of the river that runs through this place, and old houses are built up on the hillsides, and it's very beautiful. Right where I am now, there's a sort of a pedestrian street, a promenade, where I can see a lot of outside cafes and people hanging around on this beautiful sunny Sunday afternoon. The bus ride was about 2 hours, so that means that I only have about an hour to spend here in Berat, but before I have to catch the last bus back to Tirana. But I'm so glad I went down here. It is beautiful. Berat is a small town in the central part of Albania, 70 kilometers, 43 miles, south of Tirana. With a population of only around 46,000, it's a small place. With its unique style of architecture, with influences from several civilizations that have coexisted for centuries throughout the history. The old part of the city became a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2008. They call it the City of 1,000 Windows, and I've seen it described as one of Albania's most enchanting sights. Overall, Albania was a big surprise for me, and I discovered that it has much more to offer than I expected going into it. Stunning nature, interesting history and culture, vibrant modern cities, great weather, reasonable prices, and most of all, friendly people. And I only saw a little bit of the country. For one, I never made it out to the coastline. The Albanian Riviera is known for its beauty and has one of the top beach destination spots. Especially the southern part of the country has secluded pebble beaches, islands, and a few hidden and pristine sandy beaches. I honestly think that Albania could be the next big thing for people who would like to go on a different vacation in Europe with not too many tourists yet. One of the questions Muhammad asked me in the TV interview was what I thought it would take for the world to discover Albania. So when I turned the microphone around, I asked him the same question.
For 50 years, Albania has been under communism regime, has been very closed. That situation made people to be very, very friendly and very close to each other. And that produced a unique thing, welcomeness. So we do welcome foreign people in that way, which I think nobody else in the region does. So that is most distinguished feature, most distinguished thing about Albania. We have a long cross line. We have about 330 sunny days, so that is another advantage which we are using to attract foreigners, to increase the number of tourists in Albania. So hospitality, welcomeness are two most important things, and people must try Albania, must discover Albania. It's not only sea. We don't offer only the sea and swimming and water sports, but we have a beautiful nature. If you go up to north of Albania, we have art unique, untouched for thousands of years, and they can touch and discover beautiful nature.
Thank you so much again. Glad to meet you.
More than welcome.
Before we wrap it up in a restaurant in Tirana, I'd like to say thanks to Mohammed from Report TV, Elira from Dritara.net, Claude from Skanderberg Museum, and of course, most of all, to my new dear friend Adam from Albania Express Travel. When you decide to go to Albania, start by visiting albaniaexpresstravel.com. And if you get in touch with Adam, please say hi from me. Just say Bo sent you. It's Sunday night and I'm at a restaurant, an outside porch thing. A little bit of noise right now beside me. There's kids running around and playing, and I ordered a glass of red wine. And if Albania really needs to get up there to attract tourists, they need to be able to understand the words red wine. He just looked at me bewildered and he had no idea what I was talking about. So I said again, red wine. He didn't understand it. So I made the hand gesture of opening a wine bottle, and then he said, blah, 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 blah. He said something in Albanian, which I didn't understand a word of. And then he said, white. I shook my head and said, no, red. And then he came with a glass of white wine. Of course, it's my own fault. I knew that shaking my head means yes. So it comes down to communication. But I managed to get him to bring me a glass of red wine, and it's right here on the table right now, and I'm going to taste it. Absolutely wonderful red wine. I just got a text from my Albanian friend Adam saying that he will come and pick me up and drive me to the bus station so I can go to my next stop, which will be Kosovo. And I'm so looking forward to that. My name is Palle, and I gotta keep moving. See ya.
Produced by RadioGuru.co.uk.